Hello there, Chris here from Becca's Models. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a video, or say hello to anyone watching this for the first time. What is this thing about? Well, I used to do, before I had my little cancer incident earlier in the year, I used to do a near monthly segment called Talking Models, where I would just talk models for a good 10-20 minutes, talk about our hobby, our great hobby, the community, what's coming up with kits, some ideas that I might have. Usually I center the segment around one idea, and this segment I'm going to talk about confessions. What I'm going to talk about, and it's very relevant, is what type of modeler are you? And that gets to the point. What type of modeler are you? And I had an epiphany the other day that I've had many times before, so I'm repeating myself here, but I realized I was completing a model that I started a while ago, and I had filmed a little bit of it, and I sort of gave up trying to film the rest of it because it was a bit of a stretch to do. It's such a big thing, but I finished it. By finished, I mean I finished the assembly, glued the last couple of little pieces on, and getting it ready for primer. And I almost had a moment, almost had a sort of like, oh my god, this is what the hobby's all about. This is what I really, really, really love, and it made me question what I was doing with my other project that I was singularly focused on, and realized, well, I don't think I'm that sort of modeler. And what am I talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is basically, in a nutshell, this. Okay, if you want to zoom in, I can zoom in and check it out, but this is the rotor head from the Academy CH-53E Super Stallion, the 148, and I was pushing myself to get this finished by the end of mid-August, because there's a competition, the state competition that's held here every year, QMHE. See if I can remember to put a flyer up there. And I love that competition. I know I don't go there, and I keep trying to explain this to my friends and other modelers, and I don't go there gunning to get medals. Maybe in the start I did. I was like, oh yeah, I want to prove myself. I'm a good modeler. I can win a category. I can place something. No, now I really just do it as a one-man club. I go there to display my ideas, and that's what led me to this, because I'm like, well, is this really what I want to do? Do I really want to be known for someone who does scratch building, super detailing, even call it hyper detailing, and accurizing models? No, what I want to be known for, because that's what I enjoy, and that's what I realized when I finished that other model the other day that I'm rabbiting on about. I love models in flight. It's something I bang on about it all the time, but it's not that. It's something that Matt McDougall at Doug's Models, I'll see if I can put a link up to him. He talked about it. He sort of cleft the community in twain. I actually call it three. I reckon that there's our modeling hobby is not one hobby. I always call it there's more than one hobby. And a lot of people say, Becca, what are you going on about? There's more than one. There's one hobby. Yeah, there's one hobby, building plastic kits. But there's more than one approach to it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this hobby who, by design or by accident, gatekeep it. And by gatekeeping, I mean they say, no, there is one way to do this hobby. It is this way. You build a model as accurately and as clean as possible. You paint it in the exact accurate colors that are required. You don't do any weathering, because these things never got weathered. And you display it wheels down and whatever on a table, and that's how it's supposed to be done. And I say, up yours, to those sort of people who say that's the only way to do it. No. There are equally valid ways to do this hobby. And I've gone over this in another video before, but I'll go over it again very, very briefly to explain what I'm trying to get at about what type of modeler are you. And once you realize what type of modeler you are, it really frees you up. And this is what I've had. This is the so-called Epiphany. Not I need to go to the toilet. Look it up, Epiphany. Realization that, hey, I'm really not the sort of guy who likes to do this. And there are guys who do this, and they are superlative at it, and I tip my hat at them. I'm trying to remember his name. Paul Budzik is one of the best who accurizes, scratch builds. He'll cut a tank kit in half and add 2 millimeters of width to it because it's not wide enough, and build all the details. He'll create exact tools just to create the right, plumb line for a ship or something like that. And that's one end of the spectrum of the hobby. The other end, you've got guys who will just buy an Airfix starter kit. They'll glue it together. They'll use the brushes and they'll paint it. They'll put the decals on it. They'll call it a day, and they're really happy with it. Equally valid approaches. You've got Other people, and this is where Matt McDougall, where I'm trying to steer the conversation toward what he is saying, he calls it the primer divide, whereas people, they love to concentrate on getting the model built to the almost I'm about to paint it stage. That's where they focus all their energies to, and they might want to get seam lines perfect, or they might want to add lots of resin or 3D printed. That's a new phenomenon coming along now. They want to really get the detail going, or they just want the build to be super clean and looking just right. And then after the paint job, they don't, that's sort of after the fact. Oh, I better paint it now, I guess, put some decals on it. Harry Houdini sort of falls into that ground. He loves the challenge of building an old kit and getting it right and not losing the old detail, or just slightly increasing the detail that's in the kit, and then he gets to the painting stage and he paints it and finishes it, and that's great, equally valid. There's other guys who they love to get to that primer stage, just get it done, boom. Okay, it's primed, or they don't prime. Some people don't prime it, I don't know why, but anyway, there's more than one hobby, more than one way to skin a cat. And they're into, let's paint this and let's go nuts. I want to have the exact color and I want to have the exact shade. I've got to get these, like on this Kotari, there's been a bit of bump about, are these the right shades for the codes? No, I'll recut it and I'll make the right colors, and I'll make sure the weathering's just right, and blah 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 blah. And they spend most of their time, focusing on the finished external product. I sort of fit into that crowd a little bit. Then there's the other chaps who get derided a little bit by some of the ones in the first crowd who over-weather, or, they go for the high contrast, or they add the rust stains and they add all these layers of weathering, and they look fantastic. Are they realistic? Well, what's real, what's not? Hyper-real, maybe? But who cares? I mean, they look fantastic. They're a great representation of what the hobby can go to, where it can, look at figure modelers. A lot of the figure stuff, a lot of that's hyper real, and it's not really realistic, but they look bloody fantastic. Are we going to deride them for going the stylistic route? Of course not. More than one hobby, ladies and gentlemen, and other peoples. There's more than one ways to do this, and don't get sort of lanewayed into saying there's only one way to do something. But not only by other people, but by yourself. Don't get into this thing, and I'm coming around to my confession. I'm going to stop doing this. Well, stop is the wrong word. Pause. I'm not really enjoying it. I know I can do better than this. This is an okay job. I mean, I've seen other attempts at detailing, and it's not just the rotor head, it's the tail, it's the... the problem with this Academy kit is it's an old Academy kit, it's 1990s, it doesn't have a lot of... it's got no rivet detail, so it needs to have the raised rivets added. It doesn't have stress skin. A lot of new kits coming out these days have stress skin, oil canning, overlapping panels like this Kotari Spitfire. So... my bent was like, I can bring it up to that standard and I can make it look really good. And of course I want to do it in flight, it's going to be hovering. But do I really want to? There's so much energy involved. And case in point, let's this again. The thing you have to realize is when you go on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or whatever social media, or, an old fashioned, IPMS magazine with old fashioned guys at the head, you'll see the finished product and you won't realise. Speak to Chris Meddings over at Sprue Cutters Union, he'll tell you, because he's a master crutch builder. That is not attempt number 1. That's attempt number 2 or 3 or 4. And I've ripped up quite a bit of this detail and changed it twice. I've done the wiring, of the initial wiring, not the 3rd, the 4th, 5th stage. I've done the initial wiring on this twice. Once, then I realised I have to do it again. I ripped it all off, cleaned it up, and that's where I paused and I went, oh really, do I want to be doing this? That's the thing. There's a lot of effort involved in this. I could have built this Spitfire kit twice over for the time I did to just get to this stage here. So let's just put this aside. I'm going to catch my breath and I'll explain. Well, first I'm going to show you. It's just off camera there. You can probably just see the little tail, the twin tail. I'm going to explain my epiphany. Let's go. All right, case in point. When this Spitfire model came out, the Kotari Spitfire, a lot of people derided it because it's got a very low part count, 117 parts. It falls together, literally. It's, it's a Lego type kit. There's no modelling skill involved, which is a load of nonsense. Just like some of the more, I keep saying this about the Tamiya 132. You need a lot of skill to put those together, even though they fit together very, very well. You've got to be very precise. You don't need to throw, a half a tube of putty on it like an Italeri kit or a Revell kit. Let's stop rabbiting on and I'll just show you the kit. Oh, I'm going to have to zoom out, aren't I? Well, I won't because it'll upset the camera settings. Okay, or maybe I will. Let's have a look. This is what happened to me the other day. Okay, this is the Revell 1/144 scale Antonov 225, the Dream, the Mirya that got destroyed by the Russian terrorists when they invaded Ukraine in the hangar there. Yeah, so I reviewed this kit a little while ago, about a year or so ago, and I thought it was really good, and it's not. It doesn't go together well at all. You can see multiple levels of rescribing and puttying and stuff, and I still need to do a final rescribe on it. Anyway, the other day I decided, oh look, I really want to finish this for the competition that's coming up. I'm just going to zoom back in because my camera's going a bit nutso with that lighting. And, you know, I was getting there and masking and painting up these 6 engine nacelles, getting them to fit right and everything. It was a real struggle, but I pushed forward. I did a little bit of time because I was like, oh, I need to get something done. I haven't finished a model in months. The X-Wing was the last thing I've done. That was, I don't know, start of the year. I really like to see progress. I like to finish a model and move on to another one. Anyway, I was putting this together. And I've got to confess, ladies and gentlemen, I put the last engine nacelle on and I picked it up because this is, if you don't know this kit, this particular kit, they engineer it. Thank you very much, Revell. See, with even holes for your flight stand. They engineer it wheels up. It's the cheaper model. Haha, it's only $200. It's a ridiculous price for what is a under-engineered kit. I put the last pieces on and I held up my hands like I am now, like this, and I almost cried because I went, this is what I love to do. I love to get a model to this stage where I look at it and go, I can't wait to paint this, and I can't wait to put, because I'm going to have this in flight, I'm going to make my own flight stand that's over there, it's already built. I can't wait to get this done and have it flying in a beautiful pose, sitting there on the bench, and to show everyone at this model competition in August, to say, hey, look at this beautiful aircraft flying along. That's what I love to do. And if I could do all my models this way, and maybe just the occasional super silly hyper detailing project, that's how I want to do my hobby. And that's what's led me to this pivot where I'm going to put the Academy Super Stallion aside and I'm going to finish, because I've got so many unfinished models or just started, like the Kotari Spit, and I want to display them how I love them. And here's the case in point. Let's tighten up a little bit here. This is the Kotari Spitfire, and yeah, that's an electric motor. That's a touch dash motor from one of the Tamiya propeller action 148, which just so happens to fit inside the, oh, there's no engine in the Kotari Spitfire, they don't include a Merlin. Yahoo, great, because I can plop that straight in there and I can have this motorized, because one of the drawbacks of doing jets in flight are pretty easy, because jet engine, if you want to do exhaust effects with a little flame coming out the back maybe, but with a propeller plane you need to have the prop spinning to you just get, you have that illusion is broken if it's just sitting there, not spinning. So the best way, not the only way, there are other ways to do it, and I'm going to experiment with them. The best way is to motorize. So that's what I'm going to do, and my dog's going nuts outside. So that leads me to confession time number 2. What am I working on? I'm working on a lot, because this has really excited me. Ever since I had that epiphany with the Dream, with the Antonov, when I realized, man, this is what I love to do. Just a small aside personally, I haven't gone back to work yet because I had cancer recently, if you don't know that. It knocked me around a fair bit. And I'm taking this time while I'm not working, where the stress levels are really low, because my job is very stressful. And I'm gonna do what I love to do, and I think that's what you should all try to do. Don't try to do what other people tell you to do. That you should build this kit this way, or this kit's crap, so it needs to be done this way, or you need to throw $100 of aftermarket at something, or a fantastic kit like this Spitfire. It needs they didn't provide this that. No, really. No, do it the way you want to do. And I'm just going to pull this aside. What have I done? If I can quickly show you. I haven't prepared any of this. I've just thrown it on. So, give me a minute. All right. Like, there's guys who are adding rivet detail to the wings, even though they were all filled in. And I know that there's people who do the P-51 Mustang. All the rivets are filled in on theirs as well. And they fill them in instead of just leaving it. I mean, do what you want to do. There is no one standing at a competition table with a gun saying, if you don't do it this way, I'm going to shoot you. And there's no... there's all this debate about, gold, silver, bronze, or first, second, third, about competitions. Like, no. Do what you want to do. And if the judges and the criteria are all different for different things, who cares? Now, what am I doing here? I'm trying to think what I'm trying to tell you. Oh yeah, the only thing I've added to, apart from that, I'll just quickly show you, is I've got an Aerobonus resin pilot that actually comes with a seat, so I very carefully cut away, so it actually now looks like his parachute. I was going to say suitcase. Why did I say suitcase? I don't know. So yeah, I've got a nice pilot figure in there, and he's really, really well detailed. You can see the seat belts and that. That's the only thing I'm doing. I've modified the wheels for wheels up. That's a really easy convert. I'll show you that in a separate video. Yeah. Now, I've rambled on for a long time here. I'll give you a very quick view of what else I'm doing. I started a Tamiya Tomcat to go alongside my Revell Tomcat, and that is almost built. I actually use the Quinta cockpit set. Give me a minute and I'll bring it and I'll show you. That was another epiphany. I'm never painting another cockpit again. Well, no, I will. I will paint another cockpit again. Let me just get the parts. Bought this a little while ago. Unfortunately, Quinta are made in Russia, so I'm not going to buy them anymore. I'll buy I think there's Red Fox and some other ones, but because they're all doing this 3D decal thing. But that was super easy to do. And there's some people out there who say that's cheating, and I'm like, I don't care. I mean, it took longer to actually grind off the detail of, you know, just the raised plastic on the pieces on the sides that it did to actually glue them on. Bloody fantastic. I can't recommend these things enough, even though they are a bit expensive. So there's the instrument panels all done. The only thing I've got left to do here is just to paint the figures. So I've given them a few highlights and the ejection seats, and then I know the other thing I've done is I've added the reinforcement plates to the wing, to the tails. So that's all. That's ready to go pretty much. I just need to, like I said, paint those crew. In fact, I don't even need to do that. I can start to put this inside the Tamiya thing and fill it up. It's all done. Not only have I got that underway, I've got the Revell F14. It's ready for primer. The Antonov's ready for primer. And let's just scoot over to the paint booth and I'll show you a few other little things. Why build 2 or 3 kits at once when you can build 8 or 9 kits at once? This is what I've been getting up to. I've been going over my unfinished or slightly started kits or ideas that I've had that really excite me and thought, bugger it, I'm going to just get into it. And, you know, left to right, I've got another Spitfire here. Here's the Tamiya Mark 1 Spitfire that I was attempting to motorize, but then I realized I'm actually going to try a blurred prop on there. So that's an experiment I'm really looking forward to. In fact, I've started already on my P38, Tamiya P38. That I'm buddy building with Mick Drover from the Modeling Republic. It'll have twin blurred props. I was going to motorize that one too, but I came across a couple of problems. Yeah, let's go on the other side. This is the Armour Stang. This is the 1/72 scale P51, which I've, of course, modified to in-flight. Well, I've tried to. I'm halfway there. I've got a nice resin pilot in there. He's ready to go. These parts are all ready to go. You can see I've drilled a big hole in the bottom because it's going to be, where the rod's going to go. That's going to be on a blurred background, just a 6x8 photo frame. I'm really looking forward to doing that one. The kit itself is a pain in the ass to convert to wheels up. The flaps needed huge reshaping to actually fit in there flush, and I'm going to have to scratch build the side doors here because they don't fit the right size. These doors are okay. And then the tail wheel I've prepped to do wheels up. It's just a simple rectangle filler thingy job. The other thing, I've always wanted to do a flying wing, and again, here's back to the problem. What sort of modeler are you? I bought the Zukemura 148 Horton, the 229. This is what this is, the flying wing. There's no wing parts, it's just the middle sections. And that was just it's a brilliant kit, but it's not for me. And I failed with that kit. I couldn't finish it. I couldn't get, because it had so much detail and so many things going on. The parts count was enormous. And it's just, that's not me. I'm not, that's what I'm not about. I'm about, you know, let's get it in the air, let's make a really nice finish and a dramatic sort of dynamic sort of display. That's what I love to do. That's why I'm just going hell for leather with all this sort of stuff. What else have we got? Okay, we got the Spitfire, we got the thing. Now this is for my mate Bill Matthews, who's been struggling to build a kinetic prowler. I started this the second I saw one of these win its category in the Model Expo on Melbourne last weekend. So yeah, I only started this a few days ago. I've thrown it together already. I'm not going for extra detail, apart from I put some extra seat belts on these back guys. I'll use some ResKit seat belts for the front one. ResKit, no, Quinta, because I've got some leftover Quinta ones. And here's a fuselage pieces, because I need to paint the inside there. I love the Prowler. It's one of my favorite aircraft. But yeah, that kinetic kit, almost every single one that I've seen built is wheels down, wings folded up. Which to me, and I apologize, I don't want to offend, but it's boring as batshit, okay? Don't like it. Oh, and all 4 canopies up and oh wow, here's the great cockpit. Sorry, not my cup of tea. I don't like it that way. This thing needs to be in the air, needs to be flying. I want to see the ECM pods and the HARM missiles and the fuel tanks and the weathering, and I want to see that dynamic pose of it that you see often, because this is, this thing hauls along. It's it's a jet aircraft. It's yeah, so I've thrown this together. I've got some spare. These are all F-14 Tomcat pilots that I've just redone. And yeah, I'm going to build this in flight. The only other mods I'm going to do, because Bill's told me with these canopies, because they're actually 2 pieces, a half there and another half, is I'm just going to put a H-beam out of plastic to meld them together so they're 1 piece, so I can drop it in, and then just add a little bit of wire detail to the H-beam. It won't take long to do at all. So yeah. This is, like I said, all this takes less time than it did to scratch build the parts for the CH-53E. Let's wrap it up here with the last thing that I really want to get done, and I should have done this last year, again, bogged down into trying to do stuff that I really wasn't into, and that's Poco Rosso. If you don't know Poco Rosso, shame on you. Probably one of the best kids movies to get them into aviation ever. So this is the Savoia S21, the little float plane. And it's ready to go. It's, I just need to paint a few details on the cockpit. The thing falls together. I've built this once before. The fit on this is amazing. It's just press fit. Everything goes together wonderfully. I've made the base for it, and I've done something quite unique, as my wife hates me using that phrase, that I've stolen from the figure world. And it also leads me into another hobby I'm going to attempt in the year ahead, and that's landscape painting. But anyway, this is the other thing I want to get done, and yeah, this is what really excites me about this hobby, is having something different, something a bit wonderful that really pops out and grabs you and excites other people. And that's the only reason I put my models in competitions, is not to win the medals. I want to show them off. I'm being selfish. I want to show them to other people to say, hey, look, this is what you can do with aircraft models. They don't need to be parked on a bench. They don't need to be like a tank on a plank. They can be up in the air. They can be exciting. They can be real invigorating. They can make you dream about, like another movie. In fact, I was really, really, really grateful. My son, he said, oh, Dad, I want to watch a Studio Ghibli. This is, Hayao Miyazaki. He makes these beautiful movies. He says, oh, Dad, I really want to watch one. I said, oh, great. What do you want to watch? Poco Rosso, Princess Mononoke, or the Flying Castle, whatever it's called. And he goes, no, I want to watch The Wind Rises. And that's my favourite movie, because it's about a boy who dreams of being an aeronautical engineer, and he just loves airplanes. And that's me. That's what I love. Yeah. So, yeah. So I was really grateful that he watched that, and and hopefully one day he might turn into an aeronautical engineer. That was a dream I had that's gone, and but my hope is that all of you out there, you find what you really love to do. What are you passionate about? What do you love? Don't listen to the gatekeepers who say, oh, you can only do it this way, or it should only be done this, or you should only paint it that colour. Tell them to F off. Tell them just, grab what you want to do and turn your dreams into reality. So with that, thanks for watching yet again, and I'll catch you next time.